What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So I got a bunch of stuff scattered around the shop, but I'm just going to do a little update video on my truck and what is going on. So I got a new block, just the third gen. It's a 2003 4.8 liter. I got it all cleaned up here, so I got the front cover off of it. I got the cam, everything's off of it. It's block and bottom end. As you can see, I got it all cleaned up and painted. I got the surfaces all cleaned. Now, the pistons. I got one of them out. The bearings actually look pretty good. And I got to gap the rings. So this one goes on the other side, right in here. So I got to gap the rings, and I'm going to hone this out, clean everything up. I have my new lifters, my push rods, all of that stuff. That has to go back to Andrews, and we're going to do that out there. Now, nothing else is laying around here. To the back of the shop we go. This morning, I went and got my heads picked up from the guy who was porting them. So they have been to the machine shop, they're resurfaced, and a valve job has been done on them. Here they are, wrapped up nicely. So he's got those ported for me. I got my springs and everything back in those, and then my manifolds as well. He also cleaned up and ported out a little bit for me. Turbo setup. I have a new On3 Performance turbo. It's a 7875. New intercooler, 3-inch. Just way bigger than my other small one. Got my torque converter there, the Circle D 3800 stall. The rest of my turbo stuff, those are just other heads I have laying around. Now, I've also been doing some painting. So I got a new gun, testing it out and everything. So what I did is I painted my grill and my mirrors. So if you guys don't know, on the plastic parts, there's kind of like a, not a gritty texture, but a rough texture, not a smooth texture. It's a plasticky formed mold. So when I painted it, it didn't look very good. So I sanded it all down smooth, and I got it all repainted again. So I'm not sure how well it's going to turn out with this light, but we'll have to see. So there's the mirrors here and here, but as you can see, it's nice and smooth. So I got both mirrors done, and then my grill as well. So I got the grill all done, blue, and then the black for the match. So pretty pleased with the way that turned out. The plastic on it, let's see if I can find any. So this up here, see how this plastic is textured? So that doesn't look very well with paint on it. So I sanded this all down nice and smooth, so the paint takes to it way better. So I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. Tomorrow I'm going to look at new fenders, pick those up, paint those, new hood, you name it. My head gaskets should be here Friday, hopefully. So I'm hoping to get all that stuff done. More stuff that has come in. I got some ARP connecting rod bolts to keep things together a little more. I have some ARP head studs, and I got a new power steering pump because last year my power steering pump pretty much was non-existent, and I had no power steering. Now, no power steering is not that bad when there's a gearbox and everything for it, but when you're supposed to have power steering and you don't, then it's really bad. Other things, alternator is now black. Valley cover, black, alternator bracket, power steering pump is gray though. So that's the update on the truck. Really, it's still over at my grandma's. So here working on the motor tonight. My new water pump came in from wherever I ordered it. Honestly can't remember. The old one, if you haven't seen, was working, but kind of hard to turn, so figured I'd get a new one while it's all off. I got the dingleberry honer out. This is just the flex hone. It's 95mm flex hone. All my pistons are now clean. I'll throw a before pick in here too. But I now have clean pistons and rods. I will be gapping the rings once I get these honed with the little bench grinder here. So this side is honed. I'm not sure if you guys can see in there or not. Nice cross pattern honing, and this side you can see is not. It's all very glossy, very smooth, and very dirty. So I will be honing this side, and I'll show you guys 1 or 2 cylinders. And then once this side's done, this side's already done, I'm gonna try and figure out something to clean in where the lifters go. But I'll figure that out. But all of these are marked, all of those are marked, and then we'll get to the gap and rings. Dingleberrying, you wanna make sure lots of oil on there. WD-40 will work just fine. And then you're gonna get WD-40 in and make sure the cylinder's nice and oiled as well. Now what you wanna do is you wanna go medium speed, start it before you enter the cylinder, and you wanna go in and out super fast. Medium speed on the drill. And that's it. And we're gonna wipe it out. Get a paper towel so it's better. There we go. So if you look, that is done. The reason why you go in and out or up and down so fast is to get the crosshatch pattern. If you don't, it will just be rings around, which you don't want. You want nice crosshatch for the oil. And then you can see the difference between this. Super smooth, super glazed. This now has texture. It's not glazed. Will hold oil much better. So, to gap your rings, what you're going to do is you're going to take the ring off of your piston here. Just open it up, pry it off a bit, slide it out, lay your piston up here, and then you come over here into the block, and what you're going to do is you're going to put your piston ring inside of your block, take your piston and push it down till it hits the other ring, and this other ring stops the piston flat and level in there. So now if you take a look, there's even space from here and here, here and here, all the way around to make sure your gap is very accurate. I have a feeler gauge here, 2 of them taped together to make 30 thou. Obviously does not go in there. These are usually stock around 17, something like that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come over, get a grinder like this, and you're just going to tap the ends. That's pretty much it. Then you're going to check again, put the ring back in it, take your piston, push your piston down, take your gauge, check it. That was pretty much perfect. It's a little loose on 30 thou, but that's perfect. Usually you gap them to anywhere from 28 to 32, so that'll be perfect. I'm going to take the ring, I'm going to put it back on the piston, and just like that, it's done. Now I'll take the second one off and do the same thing. And I'm going to do that for all of them. Just this side's left, I've already done that side. And then I'll be putting the piston and everything back in. So, on the inside of the rod bearings here, on the caps, there's bolts here. And now if you can see on the bolt that I've already taken out, they have this little collar on them. That's what holds it from falling out. You have to take a punch and just a little hammer, and you just tap them out. Usually works better with 2 people, and then that leaves room for your new ones to slide. It's very important that the little collar comes out with the bolt though, or else these won't work. And I just got the some ARP ones. They should be good for about 9,000 RPM and over 1,000 horse. Alright, so as you can see from the bottom of this motor, all of the rods are in except for one. If we flip this sucker over, all the pistons are in on this side. If you come over to here, we have one piston left. So what you want to do is use assembly lube. I'm just going to use some gear oil, trans diff oil. Get it in there, lots of it, and then just lube it up. Never go in dry. Want to make sure it's nice and lubed. Then take your piston, same thing, make sure it's got lots of oil on it. I'm going to take this cap off for now. Same thing, make sure there's lots on the bearings. Now, you never want your rings gap to be lined up like that. You always want them to be offset. So I put one on this side, and I put one on the other side, and then I look at my gapping on the oil rings on the bottom there. Looks good. Looks good. Cool. There and there. And now some pistons have arrows on them. These ones just have dots. The dot goes towards the front of the motor. Slide it in. Wipe your hands off on your pants or a rag. Take this valve spring compressor.
Piston ring compressor.
Valve spring compressor. Wow, I'm tired. Okay. Go. And you're going to put it on there. Ring compressor. Make sure it's down flat. Tighten it up. Snug it up. Take the handle. I just got a dead blow hammer. Take the handle of it and just give it a nice constant pressure so the rings don't catch on the edge. That's it. Then flip your motor back over. As you can see up in here, I have the rod. I'm going to push the piston up tight. Once again, more oil, assembly lube, whatever you're using. Take my markings of my tape off. Top cap on. Now I'm going to be taking all of these off. Right now I don't have a 12-point socket to put the new ARP connecting rod bolts in, so I'm just hand tight, make sure there's oil on everything. I'll be taking them out once I get a socket. Put the ARP gives you their ultra torque fastener assembly lubricant with every ARP stud bolt kit you end up getting. And then the last time they go in, I'll be torquing them down. So there, that's finger tight. And yeah, why is it not spinning? There we go. And that's it. 4.8 for the truck. Bottom end is back together and ready to go.